All right, thank you, everyone. Let's see. All right, so this is going to be an update on what's going on in the FreeSWITCH project, what we do at SignalWire to support the project, and what you can do to help. And I'll maybe have a brief update on what we're up to at SignalWire also. Evan gave a similar talk back at OpenSIP Summit. I gave one at Camellia World. But don't worry if you saw that. There's plenty of things that have changed since then. So here we go. So yes, it has been a fun 15 plus years so far. I've been a user of the FreeSWITCH since 2008, back when FreeSWITCH 1.0 was released. Fortunate for my career, I've been able to work on FreeSWITCH, be paid to work on FreeSWITCH contributions for most of my career, which has been a lot of fun. It has been a lot of fun and a lot of hard work. Things have changed quite a bit, but the core of the project still remains the same. Tony, Mike, and Brian still steer the direction of contributions to our project and still contribute quite a bit. But I'll get into more of the changes a little bit later. As you can see, we released FreeSWITCH 1.10.10 just about 3 days ago, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. FreeSWITCH, 15 years, still remains one of the premier open source communications platforms in the world. It is the backbone of modern communications applications. A lot of things that, a lot of products out there that you might know has FreeSWITCH deep inside of it. It's mainly because it's a scalable product. It's very easy to extend. The licensing is great. There's great community support. So it's why it's been so popular. And a lot of it is thanks to all the hard work of Tony, Brian, Mike, and all of the many contributions, contributors and users out there. In fact, many of you here, I saw a few of you last night. Saw Ken Rice, and we got Boatman and Kinch and Chad and Matt and Bodie and everybody. It was great to see the gang all here. And from SignalWire Engineering, we have Jakub, Dragos, Giacomo here. Andre wasn't able to make it, but we wish he could be here. So let's look at what's been going on from the past 5 years or so. This kind of lines up with when SignalWire was formed. So back ClueCon2019, we did the release of 1.10.0. There's not really much significance from going from 1.8 to 1.10, other than things had kind of changed. We got kind of new people taking over, running the day-to-day of the project. Also coincided with a Debian 10 release. We started getting into more regular releases. We'll do releases yearly with ClueCon. Sometimes we do a holiday release. We'll always do a release if there's some kind of security vulnerability that comes up that we have to disclose. So no worries there. 2020, we made an effort to start really cleaning up the code. Scan build 4 clean. There were hundreds and hundreds of issues found in the code, and we went through and cleaned them all up. We also introduced the built-in test framework in FreeSWITCH to not only to improve the stability, because we can run it with the address sanitizer. So now we're trying to exercise all of the code paths as much as we can, and make sure that we capture all of the various memory problems that pop up. 2021, Debian 11 support, scan build 7's clean. 2022 was just scan build 11, and this year quite a few CVEs popped up. We had a few in Sophia SIP. We have a couple that we resolved in this recent release of FreeSWITCH. So please update. So as I said, Debian 12, we've got packages. Everything's good there. I think we have 9 issues left to resolve on scan build for Debian 12. We had to update, we had to do some refactoring in mod AV to support FFmpeg 5. We still support FFmpeg 4 if you want to build it yourself, but if you're running on latest Debian and you're running from packages, it should be stable enough to try. If you run into any trouble, please just open some issues and let us know. And of course, we had to also support OpenSSL 3. Some pretty serious stuff. We haven't disclosed what's in there, but essentially, most things that we find are some kind of remote attack, right? Somebody sends some packet to FreeSWITCH, or the SIP stack processes it and then will crash or go into some kind of instability. So please update as soon as possible. If you're unable to update, we can probably help figure out how to backport, and direct you to which patches you need to apply. But we will be publishing probably within the next month. What else is updating? We have a bunch of Atlassian servers on the old FreeSWITCH.org infrastructure. They're all end of life really soon, so we've been replacing them one by one. We're on GitHub now. We've got off of Jira and Stash. We've moved off of Confluence, but we still have Bamboo running that's doing our packaging, so that's going to move too. We'll keep everybody informed if there's anything that's going to really impact your builds or your deploys, but it's just something that's going to have to get done. We also have another large project. For many years, have been scanning with Coverity. There's just a huge pile of bugs in there to fix, but the team does make efforts to regularly go through and try and fix some of these bugs every cycle or so. So that's I don't have any timeline on when that's going to be done, but it's a big. But we'll keep digging at it. And also, we're looking into how do we continue to improve accepting contributions to the project. We like contributions, but it does take time to be able to accept them. So we're constantly looking at ways to improve that. All right, so what does SignalWire do for the FreeSWITCH project? Well, first of all, SignalWire provides we actually pay staff to work on FreeSWITCH full time. So we have a team that's working hard to keep everything up to date, making all these releases. So and we'll continue to do that. And we've also started having some staff help a little bit more with the documentation and other aspects of the project. So as SignalWire grows, our contributions to the project will grow with it. So we provide regular releases. We support all the stable and LTS releases of Debian. We provide packages for that. We support Windows, and I believe we have packaging for Windows. And we also support Mac OS, although we don't have any CI for Mac OS. But if people report build problems in Mac OS, we tend to get to those pretty quickly to fix them. If you are on a different distribution, it might work, but we just don't have anyone dedicated to support it. But maybe there's something that we could figure out in terms of anyone from the community that wants to kind of adopt a distribution and keep it up to date. We respond to vulnerability reports. We have an email address, security@signalwire.com. Send email there. I guarantee you we will read it and we will respond to it. And we have a security policy published on our GitHub repo. We host the monthly FreeSWITCH community office hours. It's a good opportunity to come in and talk to the developers. If you have a pull request that maybe you feel hasn't gotten enough attention yet, it might be a chance to go in there and steer our attention to it. We have hundreds of issues, hundreds of pull requests, and so this could be a way to cut the line. Come on in, see everybody. The devs make an effort to show up. I know Andre, I believe, goes. Brian West is there. Should be good. We have a community forum. So we used to use the mailing list. When we had the mailing list, everybody said, "Why don't we have a forum?" Well, now we have a forum, and then all the people that love the mailing list are like, "Why do we have a forum?" Can't really make everyone happy, but I think the forum is nice because you can get the email digest every day from it. So that's what I use. That's how I stay in sync with what's going on in the forum, and I think it's working all right. You know, the team is making a good effort to keep that up to date and be responsive in there. We also have our community Slack. The Slack is our replacement for the IRC when we were on Freenode. Very active community in there, and definitely, I know I see, Brian West is in there. He's always in there responding to questions. I try and pop in there too. It's a good place to go if you want to try and get some real-time answers to questions that you have. Now we have Discord as well. So there's a bridge between the Discord and the Slack. And so now you can pick. If you prefer Discord, you can go to Discord. I am not much of a Discord expert. I guess maybe I'm a little too old for that. But sure, my kids love it. As I had mentioned earlier, we have documentation. We moved it from Confluence. I believe it's been converted all to Markdown now, and it's hosted on GitHub. You can go in there. There should be links to make edits in there. There's also the GitHub site that hosts all the code to create the documents. Feel free to reach out to us on Slack or in the forums or wherever if you want to contribute and you're having difficulties. But check it out. And of course, we organize ClueCon. ClueCon does remain a conference for developers by developers. Even if I didn't work for SignalWire, it'd still be my favorite. I still say it's my favorite conference. I really love coming here, seeing everybody every year, and thank you so much to everybody that makes this possible. Thank you to Sharon and all the work that she and her team does to organize this, and to all the volunteers. It's just great. And also, we have ClueCon Weekly. Luca hosts it. Luca's here. If you have something really great that you want to talk about with Luca, he's always looking for things. So go find him, have a chat with him, and be a guest. So we have two communities or organizations in GitHub. We have the SignalWire organization, which hosts the FreeSWITCH core project, but we also have a FreeSWITCH organization in GitHub, and that hosts all of the open source libraries and dependencies that we have in the project that we maintain. So we have Sophia SIP in there. We have Span DSP. Steve Underwood is actively maintaining it in there, so that's considered the most up-to-date version of Span DSP that's out there. We have our libstir shaken. We also host modules. Some of the modules that we have in FreeSWITCH core, honestly, they just there's not much done to them anymore, other than we keep them compiling, make sure the static analysis is clean, make sure there's no regressions. But if you want new features or anything, then we're going to need some help from the community to help maintain that. So some of these modules, like Mod Unit MRCP, Mod Janus, they're out there in this FreeSWITCH organization in GitHub, and you can very easily build that in with the rest of the FreeSWITCH tree. It's just a simple little thing you add to your modules.conf, and the build will just suck it right in and add it to your build. But the nice thing about having it external like this is if anyone wants to help, then we can add you as a collaborator or a contributor to the org there, and then you can go through and make all the changes you want without us getting in the way of that. And we can package it up for you too. So how can you help? Obviously, writing code is something that can help, but there's a lot of other ways that you can help as well. We always need help updating the docs. Our docs are not great. We're making a internal effort to improve them, but we're always looking for people that can help. If you go out there and you read the docs and you can't quite figure out what you need from it, but then you go and you figure out that, oh, this is how it actually works and this is what you're really supposed to do, then go in and take a few minutes to go in and make the change to the documentation to share with everyone else how that worked out. Similar with the forums, right? You ask for help on the forums and someone gives a suggestion and it's not quite right. You found the real solution. Go back in there, post what happened, and then it's there for everyone else to learn from. You can adopt a module, just like what I was saying with mod unit MRCP and mod Janus. I think Seven stepped up and he's maintaining mod unit MRCP. I think we also have the FreeSWITCH communicator out there in the FreeSWITCH org. Which I believe maybe I forgot who's actually maintaining that one. But there's plenty of other modules, and if you find that there's a module that's not getting the attention that you want, and you're a capable C developer, come find us, come talk to us, and maybe we can make that happen. You can report security vulnerabilities. Like I said earlier, we'll respond. A lot of this was started because of when I had joined, Sandro from Enable Security had reached out to us and said that he found a bunch of problems, and we have no security policy, and we never really did any of this before. But GitHub, is a very helpful tool. And Sandro told us that other people I've worked with, they're able to use the tools within GitHub to manage all this, and it's worked wonderfully for us. So we handled his vulnerabilities. We published all the CVEs for it, and since then we've gotten plenty of other reports from other people out there in the world, and I can tell you we seriously look at it because we do not want we at SignalWire run the very latest code at all times, and if there's a vulnerability, we don't want it in our system. We don't want it in your system, and we'll do our best to promptly address these things. So you can report, and we will respond. Help out, right? Help out in Slack or Discord, or in the community forums. I've been looking in there the other day, and I'm seeing a lot of new people in there, a lot of new people helping each other out, which is great. And I'm still seeing some of the the long-time people out there as well helping out. So that is like how I started working with where the community was not on the mailing list. It was I had popped onto the live chat at the time, IRC, and chatted with everyone and got to know everyone and really got up to date really quick on what's going on. So, but people have to contribute, right? People have to speak up in there to make it a community. So I like what I see in there lately, and I think we could do more. And of course, you can always submit bug reports and pull requests. We're a bit cautious with changes to FreeSWITCH core, changes to media, changes to SIP. Sometimes we'll get a pull request and it fixes the person's problem, but might introduce problems for everybody else. So that's why we can be a little bit slow about sometimes accepting some of those pull requests in those particular areas of the code. We are working to continue to expand our regression test coverage there, but backfilling tests is not an easy thing to do. It's a very time-consuming process, especially for code that may not have been written with testing in mind. So if you do want to make changes to FreeSWITCH, the best bet is to try and do it in a module instead, because then you can, even if you don't contribute it back, you can stay, you'll be able to easily track with what's going on upstream, and you're not have to worry about any, conflicts or anything like that. So that's what I recommend. And SignalWire. So what else? Where do we fit in? So as I had said, we help with the open source community. We also will provide paid support for people that need it. And we also, we provide the SignalWire cloud platform. And it's for people that, don't want to have to, they just want to get the time, they just want to get to market quicker, And we've solved all the problems, and you just lean on our, decades of experience to get to solving your problems, your business problems, and not worry so much about the how to scale to tens of thousands of calls per second and things like that. We are deployed globally across the world. We're multi-cloud. We can deploy on just about any provider. We can deploy in even on bare metal and private infrastructure. We're not tied to any particular provider. And because of that, we can protect your data. So that makes it very attractive, especially in areas of the world where the laws are becoming stricter and stricter. We're able to accommodate that. And of course, all the latest integrations and latest technology. If you need to have world-class real-time audio access to OpenAI, we've got it now, right? Because we have some of the best developers in the world who are there and able to, hook FreeSWITCH up to these things. So you don't need to struggle with it. You can just sign up for our service and have it working in minutes. So that's what we offer. So, the takeaway is, the TLDR, keep your FreeSWITCH up to date. We're here to help. We can help you, in the community. We'll help you in a paid support way, and we can also help you get to market quicker. You just pick the level of integration that works for you and your business. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. We have time for just about one or two questions. And Abby, I see you working on your presentation there. But I want to call you out and ask you to come and do a drawing for us in a moment. But does anybody have a question for Chris before we go to lunch? There's one from Daniel just there. And the microphone is heading your way, Daniel.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Just a question about you have in your repository SPA DSP. You still need to maintain it as a separate or like a fork of the original library? Because as far as I remember, a few years ago, it was some kind of conflict between your or FreeSWITCH version and the one used by RTP Engine. Is still the case? In Debian, so there was like, if you wanted to put both of them?
The one in our repo is the one that the author of SPAN DSP maintains.
But then in Debian, they take it.
Ours
Okay.
is the real deal.
Okay, so good to know that the maintainer is on that repository.
Yep.
Thank you for your question of clarification, Daniel. Time for one more question before we do the drawing. Or is everybody very... Oh, there, right, Liviu, right at the back there. Thank you, Liviu. By the way, while that microphone is making its way to Liviu, I checked out this mug that Abby's going to do the drawing for. This is no ordinary mug. It's a $100 coffee mug. It's temperature controlled and self-heating. It's an amazing mug. Anyway, she's going to give that away in a minute, but before we do that, Liviu, your question.
All right, thank you, David. So we had this funny situation a few weeks ago where some guy wrote us that he'd found a bug, right, like an on-demand crash, denial of service kind of bug, and whether we'd have a bounty program for it. We were like, hey, the bug tracker is full of crashes, you know. We would welcome your contribution, and that's it. We will fix it for you, you know. We had never heard from the guy again. So my question for you is, do you offer some kind of bug bounty program, or have you ever considered it?
We don't currently have one that I'm aware of, but you know, maybe. I think at least for the security vulnerabilities, most of these that we hear about, there's like it's like legit researchers that are finding things, and maybe it's because their employer is using the product as well and they want it to be secured. So we haven't really gotten asked yet much about payment.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Liviu. Big round of applause for Chris Rienzo. Thank you.
Thank you.